faithfully speaking. I'm faithfully speaking love, speaking hope, speaking peace, faithfully speaking. Come on, stick it into your day. Come on, put a smile on your face. Hold your head up high, it's already okay. Yeah. Speaking faithfully, speaking.
I sounded good singing that. Okay, I'm not singing that. I'm so sorry. But good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and welcome to yet another wonderful podcast of Faithfully Speaking, where we share topics of conversation and interest and concerns in a good, positive, and honest and loving way, where we speak faith and life into every situation that we discuss. Amen. So today we have a very special topic, and we're going to call today's show Wealthy Wisdom. You know, in Proverbs 3:13, it says, "Blessed are those who find wisdom, those who find and gain understanding, for it is more profitable than silver and it yields more return than gold." So you know what? This wisdom and this knowledge that you're getting today, it's going to be so wealthy, past that monetary stuff that we are talking about. And so here today, I have a very special guest. My guest says building wealth isn't just about money. It's about making a lasting impact. So please help me welcome today to the podcast of Faithfully Speaking. He's a highly skilled business and financial professional. He's a multiple business owner and developer. His name is Thomas Wilson. My brother, Thomas, how you doing?
Hello. How are you doing? I think we were just talking. This is Manifest Monday on the light. Thank you. Let's do this. Faithfully Speaking. Yes.
Well, I am so glad to have you on today. You know, of course, we met at Wake Chapel Church, your church there, at an event that I was there a part of. And when we just met, we were saying just how it was God given. It was God. It was meant for us to meet. And then after you told me all about what you did, I'm like, I've got to have you on the show. I've got to have you somewhere so that my listeners, my light family, because there's so much more than listeners to me, can truly gain some insight from what God has blessed you with, to have the knowledge and the wisdom and just the creativity to be able to bring. So let's start right there, because everybody's like, so tell us more about Thomas. Tell us a little bit more about you and what you do, Brother Thomas.
Wow. Such an amazing introduction there. When I think about it, you know, the quote you just gave with Proverbs, you know, Proverbs chapter 3, verse 4, 5, and then you can start from 8 all the way down. When you speak about wisdom, you speak about trust in the Lord. Well, really, that's where it starts with me, understanding that I had to step out on faith myself when I wanted to become an entrepreneur, but I didn't really know where that road was going to take me. You know, it's hard when you've got that comfort level of a 9-to-5 job that's bringing that steady cash flow, and you want to step out there on faith, and you're like, but God, do I let go of this? You know, and you've got to have that voice that speaks inside of you that pushes you out there into that deep ocean and says, now swim. And so for me, I jumped out there strictly on that faith, and I had to walk that bridge. You know, I couldn't just have it in my mind and in my prayers. I had to actually take the actions behind it. So being a multiple business owner, you know, through the course of my life, I say more so in high school, I knew I was going to own my own business. So when I went to college, I didn't go to college with the mindset that I was going to work for somebody for the rest of my life. I went to college to understand that I may have to get some tooling, some training, doing just some experience, but I was going to go and open my own business. But really, my entrepreneur started in college. Once I got to college, I found a niche, and then I just stepped out there and I really started just understanding I wanted my own financial freedom. I wanted to make the options. I wanted to control my path and my destiny. And that led me where God grabbed my heart later on in life after I had some wins, a lot of wins. I took a lot of losses too, promise you. I had winners where my car had no heat, and I had summers where my car had no air conditioning, and days that I slept in my vehicle. So anybody who thinks that this journey is all hokey dokey and happy, is not. Those pain points that God takes, he takes you from faith to faith to faith to faith, trusting him, and not just your own talents, but trusting him and let him be your guide. And so for me, focusing on God all the time allows me to grow in the spirit, grow in him, and then seek him and say, okay, Lord, what is your will for me? Not no more, because you start moving outside of yourself, and now you start focusing what his will is for your life. And then he start using all the talents he gave you to manifest that.
I love it, because I know some of our watchers or our listeners and viewers right now are saying, I thought Melissa was going to talk about finances. She talking to that brother is preaching, but you know what? That's what I love about it, because you are that financial guru. You are the man who has the wisdom behind it all, but your rock behind it or with it all is Christ.
Yes,
and that's exactly what's coming out of your mouth, because it's in you and it's coming out of you so fluently. And that's why I said, I have to have you on. So as we are in this whole time frame, trying to keep it in there, because I know you have so much wisdom, so much knowledge you can share with us. When it comes to what you've just said, stepping out and trying to build that wealth and building that stuff, what do you see, or what have you seen has been some of the biggest challenges that we can face, we as the African-American community primarily?
Well, we've never had a problem with making active income. That means working for us, using your labor to produce income. And the key things that comes in, how does money make money? That's the part we struggle with. Nobody step into our arena and our community, show how money makes money. Money makes money through investment. So it's 3 paths to wealth. It's either you're going to invest into the market, or you're going to invest into real estate, or you're going to invest in your own business. Those 3 paths, if anybody knows a different path, please let me know. But through what God has downloaded in me, those are the only 3 paths that's going to get you to wealth. So now you have to step back and say, okay, you need to define wealth for you. Now, one key thing you can use is think 3 generations. Don't think about you, because maybe that's just a lifestyle situation. Like the Bible says, my kids. So right. Think 3 generations. When you think 3 generations, you'll go further and you'll push harder, because now you're looking at the 3 things. I want everybody that's listening to write these 3 letters down, because they're going to guide your decision for the rest of your life. NWW. Well, what does that mean? Yeah. My needs. What are my needs? What are the essential things that I need? Whether it's for my business, for my personal life, what are the essential things I need? The next is my wants. What are the things I want to do in life? And the last part, my wishes. What are my heart desire? Not that goes beyond me. Things I want to do for maybe a charity organization, my church, my community, my family, my legacy. You have to understand those 3 things. And then you start creating the fuel that's going to fuel that, which now comes back to whether I'm investing in the stock market, whether I'm invested in a business or real estate. What is the vehicle that's going to produce that? I would suggest diversify it, because you never know which one is going to really explode for you. So you want to then get knowledge in all those areas. Understand that each one of these areas, when I invest, we call pillow money. I make money while I sleep. See, too many of us, we're addicted to making active income. But here's the downside of that. When you start being active, the income stops too. So think about that. If it requires all your energy day to day to produce this income, and something happens to you, where's the income coming from then? And so we have to focus on not how money can reinvest to replace my activities. What can I do? Because money is an employee.
That's a good way to look at it. Wow.
It's simply that. Finance is a tool, but money is an employee. And so you have to give it a job. The problem, we give it the wrong jobs. We buy a lot of depreciating assets instead of thinking the long term. Say, okay, if I invest this today, how can it grow over time that takes care of everything? So I want to create enough passive income or enough portfolio income that takes care of my lifestyle. That's why it's important to understand my needs, my wishes, my wants. Because then if I focus on those things, I won't get distracted by all the noise out there. I won't have to buy this Gucci bag, Fendi bag, all these other things, not picking on bags. I understand that my wife wants it too. So I'm not going to get myself in trouble.
I'm like, why can't you say cars and, things like that? The guys.
Because the key is this. I'm going to set my priorities first. What are my needs before I go to the wants and the wishes? My first priority as a father is to take care of my household.
Absolutely.
And so I have to make sure everybody needs is met financially with the resources needed, and not just finance, but protection wise, guidance wise, because really wealth is wisdom being passed down. Because let's just say I pass away and I leave 2-3 million to my kids and my spouse, but they don't know how to keep it going. Well, in one lifetime, in 10 years, 1 year, all that money could be gone.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to pass down the wisdom on how the money keeps making money.
And that's something that you said you wanted to do when you met me. You said, Melissa, I want to pass along this wisdom. And I am one of your students now. Whew, I'm just going to tell you, you've been taking me through, Thomas, but I'm going to hang in there with you.
Well, remember when I told you God put it on my heart for me to try to create 1 million successful business owners.
Yes.
But why is that important? Because the more we're less stressed about finances, the more time we can spend with him. I want you to think about that. When we're not financially stressed, we tap into our creative nature. That creative nature is that Holy Spirit that shows you and guides you as to other things towards your purpose. So let's move the finances out the way so we can stop that distraction from the finance side, and let's focus on the purpose that God wants us to produce in this world. And that's where I'm at. I want that for you because God put that on my heart to say, hey, listen, I've equipped you with these different skill sets and talents, not for you, for what I want to use you for.
Yeah. And it's God's desire for us to be exactly where you're speaking into our spirits right now. What is it? 3 John 2, I think says, beloved, I wished above all things that thou mayest prosper and be in health, even as thy soul prosper. So God wants us to prosper. So when you started talking to me, I was like, okay, God, you're talking to me. You're talking. Yeah. So he's talking to us. That's why he's on Faithfully Speaking today. Yeah. So let's go through a few more questions. You talked about a whole lot. We're excited. We're like, yes. But the one thing you said is there was going to be some times where you're going to struggle. Now, how do we balance the fear of taking, so to speak, a risk?
Well, it comes with knowledge, right? So knowledge and exposure. So think about it. Most of the time, if you get exposed to a whole new environment and that environment starts educating you on a different vision, a different outcome, and what happens is your goals change. The direction of your life changes. So really it's about acquiring that knowledge because knowledge mitigates risk. The more I know about something, the more I'm informed about something, the better decisions I can make. And then focus. We have to focus. So when we think about, and I'll talk more so about business owners, but we can talk about a variety of things here. Most of the time, business owners don't know two things. This is the two biggest things that hinder you being successful in business. You don't really understand the problem. You try to build a product without understanding the problem. And that's big because now you spend all your money trying to figure out who your target audience is because you didn't understand the problem. You just want to sell your widget or your service. But you have to step back to understand, okay, what is this problem? Who has this problem? Ideally, who has this problem? And what's the price point I need to charge in order to be successful in this business? So I have to know what I need to charge to understand my needs. First, let's make sure we get the needs right, the wants, and the wishes. I may not be able to get all three at one time, but can the business support my needs? Because I understand this problem well enough, and the problem has enough people that want to pay for it. And so then you take a look cost. How much is it going to cost me? Now, cost it's very interesting because we think financial, but it's going to cost you a lot of time with family too, a lot of time with loved ones. Are you willing to pay the price? Because being an entrepreneur, being a business, what I teach is a strategy to understand this. Bring it all together. Because you can't have a financial plan separate from your business plan, separate from your family plan. It doesn't work. That's why there's so much disconnect and we say work-life balance. Well, what are you trying to balance? Because the business has to support the family, that has to support the lifestyle. So why are you not including your spouse in the business plan? I call it a plan. What is the family plan here? Because the business is just a vehicle that goes into the plan, but I have to include my kids. I have to include my spouse. I have to put all these things because they're all integrated. And then I come up with a master plan because now the spouse is not disconnected from it. They are a part of it. So you incorporate how much time you need to spend with the family as well as how much time you need to spend with the business. And you make it all one comprehensive plan as opposed to having these segmented areas that they conflict with each other at some point in time.
Wow. You really have taken that whole thing and just put it all together. It's not just about your business, it's about the family. And the family is your first ministry. It is the first church. So you're right. To take it in that sense of spirituality, that's the only way it's going to make it. So I know a lot of people are saying, this is something that's interesting to me. How do I get started? Got an idea. You said you need to find out if this is, something that people need, something that they will buy into. How do you figure that out? Is there a process that you can say, hey, these are some steps that you can ask yourself to know if this is the direction that you want to go into, or a good direction to go into?
The most powerful thing I learned in business is asking questions. It's not giving answers, asking questions. So there's already a market for it. We think we're trying to educate the market. The market educates you, because you already know you have a problem and you already know how much you'll spend for it. So what you want to do is probe your audience. You got a lot of great marketing guys that really understand that process. How do I probe my audience? Because I want to make sure I'm laser focused, understanding what the main problems they have and how I can solve it. So I would ask questions. I would ask people, hey, listen, how much are you willing to pay for X? How deep is this problem? Do you have something that you can put a Band-Aid on, or is this something that you need surgery? If I cut my arm off, I need surgery. Mm-hmm. I'm going to a specialist. I'm going to the hospital right now. Men we don't like going to the hospital for the most part, and I'm generalizing it.
No, you're right. No, y'all don't. And this cast is not going to stay on this long. I'm going to take it off.
Exactly. Yes. And so, but if it's something major, now we're going. Mm-hmm. And so what you got to identify, what is the major problem in that industry that those individuals are having, or that corporations having, that with your skill set, your talent, you can help fix. And how much value can you add? Because you don't want to get into a position where you're trying to compete on price. That's a race to the bottom. You want to compete on value. A lot of time business owner will, I'll be the cheapest. Well, that doesn't mean you're the best. That doesn't mean your product is quality, because if you're giving subpar product, right, you'll be out of business quick. Mm-hmm. So what do you want to do? You want to step back. You really want to evaluate. Okay, ask these questions: who, what, when, where, why, and how. Those 6 questions are your golden. I just gave you a blueprint. Most people want to do all this elaborate business plan. What I gave you is a cheat sheet. Who has the problem? What do they need? Where are they? How can I help them? When would be the best time to reach out to them? Mm-hmm. I'm stopping on why, because there's something that most people don't understand: psychographics. We understand demographics, but we don't understand psychographics, which is the behavior behind the spending, the behavior behind the need. So you got to understand why this behavior, what makes them increases this behavior. Why do I shop on Amazon? Why do I shop here? Why do I go to this place consistently? Why do I buy this product? It's that behavior that you've got to tap into. And then you want to take a look at the next one, geography. Where are they located? So I've got the demographic, the age, the male, female, all those data information. But then I want to know why they purchased this. That's the psychographic. Then the geography, where are they located? My ideal client, where are they located? And then the last part, you add your secret sauce, which is your talent.
I love it. People are going to be taking notes from this podcast. Like, I'm going to have to rewatch it myself, because I'm sitting here writing notes down. This is wonderful, Thomas. Thank you so very much. What are some other components that you would say we need to watch out for when we consider trying to start our journey? I think that's the biggest question, is just, like I said, the fear of not knowing, trying to get the wisdom. where to get the wisdom, how to get started. And then once you're in it, you've been there, done that. You take a licking and keep on ticking. But, when do you get to a point where you say, hey, look, maybe this isn't working. I need to shift. And is there a point in there where you feel like I may need to take a shift and it's okay?
I love the question. Man, we don't have enough time to go into that question.
No, we're going to have you back.
That question was so loaded. I've got so much racing in my mind right now that I just want to pour out into your audience. But I think I'm going to try to discipline myself a little bit and say, focus. Got to have focus. And you have to not be scared to make a decision. See, what a decision does, it eliminates the noise. Once you make a decision, you eliminate all the other alternatives. And then direction. I said this at one of my speaking engagement. Wow. Direction is more important than distance. I'm going to say it again. This is a Thomas Wilson quote. Direction is more important than distance. Sometimes we're in the valley and we're looking at the mountain. The mountain looks so far away. But if you're not going in the right direction, how long will it take you to get there? Think about the children of Israel.
Yeah.
They got caught up in the distance because they lacked direction.
That's
and so you got to step back and understand, where are you going? What is my goal? So I'm going to use this analogy. Think about Google, a GPS. And most of the time, the GPS wants to know, where are you right now? It cannot give you direction on where you're trying to go until it understands where you're at. Once it has your current location, you tell it where you're trying to go. Now, you think that it's moving forward to get you to your destination. But what it did was, once you told it the destination, it backed up into your present. So we got to plan backwards, execute forwards. I'm going to say it again. Plan backwards, execute forward. That's why you hear the cliche statement, start with the end in mind. Because if I know where I'm trying to end up, it's easier for me to chart that path. And so
when is your class? We're going to have we're all ready to sign up for Thomas Wilson's class. I'm loving this. Oh my goodness.
Oh, man, this is just God using me as a vessel to pour out. I don't have no notes. I didn't write nothing down. This is just strictly, I told God, use me as a vessel.
This is wonderful. So we're going to have you back on. I know you said, Melissa, I've got some points, the points that you made about, what was it? The way of starting your wealth. Either it's going to be through what you say, market, real estate, or investing in your own business.
Right. Real estate, business, and the stock market. That's the only three ways, because you got to think about it. And that void that people don't, there's a disconnect when you say stock market. People don't kind of resonate the fact that those are businesses. Right. Those are businesses you're investing in, but those are businesses that you're using every day. Think about it. Do you wear Nike? Are you using Apple phone? Apple products, Microsoft products. You're using these company products each and every day. The difference is you're not benefiting from it like you should. You're thinking from the consumer standpoint instead of the producer. See, the world rewards producers, not consumers. And so you got to say, okay, God said he put a seed in you and he expected a harvest. Understand, the seed is there. That's why he said, be fruitful and multiply, because I already put the seed. So what's in you, you have to develop. I'm telling you, we go to Genesis, the whole blueprint is in Genesis. We just ain't got enough time to break this thing down.
We're gonna have to come back. I'm just loving this. You are truly giving us some, as they say, some wonderful meat. You're giving us the meat of what we need. And like you said, when you said stock market, a lot of us are like, yeah, I don't know anything about it. And that's our fears, because like you said, we lack the wisdom of knowing when to do it. But I love it when you said you want to put your money where when you're asleep, it's working for you.
Yes,
And you're
yes,
not
yes,
always working to get it.
yes, 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 yes,
So
yes. Now
I'm
I
gonna
will read one quote though. I made sure that I think we have to understand that anything you want, your father's already prepared it for you. I want you to think about this. There's no way you can have an idea unless he gave it to you. There's no way you can have a vision unless he gave it to you. What you have to do is stop walking by sight and by faith. Don't worry if what you see in the physical is there. What he's trying to show you is that the what's in the spiritual is stronger. And he's used you as a conduit to bring it into the world.
Mm-hmm.
And so move past yourself. This is how you get out of your fear. I want you to think when we were younger, whether you rode a bike or anything, you didn't care how many times you fell.
Mm-hmm.
You wanted the outcome to ride that bike.
Yeah.
I guarantee can't nobody tell me how many times they fell before they started walking.
Right.
You never stop trying. What happened is we let the outside world tell us what we can't do instead of what's inside of you telling you, yes, you can do it. And so you got to choose who you listening to, because those 6 inches right there are the most powerful thing. So feed yourself success, not failure. And yes, there's some steps to take. And we can, when we got more time, we can walk through that. You know, I'm just gonna throw it out. Me and Melissa, we're gonna do a show. We're gonna do a training.
We're gonna build the next one. So y'all, Thomas is gonna come back. I know you're probably saying he's got to come back. So I have 2 last questions for you, so that everybody can say, hey, look, if I need to ask him another question, I can get in contact with him. First of all, we're all sitting here reading Thomas Iceberg Wilson. What's the iceberg about, Thomas?
Oh, I love that. That iceberg you see there is a reminder that God put in my heart. What's inside of me is greater than what's in the world. I want you to think about what people see in the outside, how they misjudge, and they misjudge you or they underestimate you. But when you tap into that spiritual power that's on the inside, that's what broke that iceberg down. They didn't see what was below it. And so that's a reminder to me that his power, he who is in me, is greater than he who is in the world. Yes. And so I keep that there because that's what brought me out of my storm. That Bible verse I just gave you brought me out of all my storms. And whenever I'm going through a storm, that's a reminder to me that what's inside of me is more powerful than what I'm going through on the outside. So I never let my situation change my direction and my focus of what God has said you can do it. And I'm the power. I'm the one that's going to do it. Now I surrender to him.
You make us want to say, yes, I'm going to go start my business tonight.
That's what I want them to do, because you got. I'm so passionate about financial freedom. Yes. You know, it's my focus. Shows. My focus is to get everybody free, because it's just that we haven't had. I can't say now we don't have access to information. It's just so scattered, and so we need somebody to kind of bring it, make it make sense, bring it all together. There's a lot of information out there. We're past the information age. We enter into the data age, but now you're seeing what's being done with data. That is what's producing AI technology, ChatGPT, and all these different things. You know, and we refuse to adapt and adjust. One thing to be successful, you have to be ready to adapt and adjust.
Well, you know, I personally, and those who are just now meeting you, thank you for your obedience. We thank you for letting God use you, because your obedience, as we can tell, God is in you. And because you said yes, 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 he has continued to sow into you so that you can sow into others and to share that wisdom and that knowledge. So before you go, how do people connect to you, with you, stay in contact with you if they have further questions past today, of which I'm sure you're going to get flooded? How do they do that?
Well, I'm going to make it real simple. Text Faithfully Speaking to 919-816-6598. That's Faithfully Speaking to 919-816-6598.
All right. Faithfully speaking to 919-816-6598. I was hoping my online editor would grab that, but I'm sure she's going to edit some of this so that when it's coming back, it's going to roll down. There we can see. I know Paige in the back. We're going to just say hi to Paige and thank you. There you
Thank
have
you,
it.
Paige.
So everyone that's watching and listening right now, you're going to want to share this show. Share it as many times as possible. It's all about having that, that wisdom, that, as we call this show, wealthy wisdom. And in order for us to be wealthy, not just spiritually, but physically, because God desires for us to do it. So don't feel guilty because you're like, I'm wanting to have money. God says, I desire for you to have it all. So it's okay. But with that, we perish for lack of knowledge. And today we are getting that knowledge. And my brother is here hanging out with us to share what God has given and sown into him. And he has so willingly joined me today to share it with you. So thank you, Thomas. Thank you so very much for joining us today for Faithfully Speaking. Don't worry, you're coming back because you can't get rid of me.
Thank you so much. The pleasure was mine.
All right, y'all, we're going to wrap up this Faithfully Speaking. But like I said, share this. You're definitely going to share it. Call up Thomas if you have any questions. It's time for us to move forward or to start there and move backwards so that we can get to where God desires us to go. That's the lesson that Thomas taught us today. So until next time, we speak life into every situation right here on Faithfully Speaking. We love you. Until next time, God bless you. Grace and peace.